the turn of the 20th century, cities were more than just places to live. They were the grand stages of human ambition. Here in New York, the morning mist mingled with progress, as the world we know today began to take shape behind every corner. Steam whistles announced the birth of the age of speed, a time that bridged continents and turned vast distances into mere memories. In the bustling docks, ships carried more than just cargo. They transported cultures, hopes, and the seeds of a global revolution. But this progress came with a price. Dark plumes of smoke covered the sky, a silent roar from the heart of engines that never slept.
The view from under the bridge is
Yet,
beautiful.
amidst the roar of machinery, humanity sought moments of stillness, finding peace in nature as the world accelerated around them. As the sun vanished, the first electric lights transformed the streets, proving that the night was no longer for rest, but for a new kind of life. Marketplaces pulsed with energy, where every vendor's cry told a story of the daily struggle and the vibrant spirit of the era. High above the clouds, workers defied gravity, painting the new skylines of the future with their bare hands and sheer courage. This is how history came to life, a journey through fog and light that paved the way for the world we inherit today. Fifth Avenue stood as the grand stage of American wealth. Here the clatter of horse-drawn carriages began to fade, replaced by the rhythmic hum of the very first automobiles. But the true soul of the nation was arriving at the gates of Ellis Island. Millions of tired eyes looked toward the shore, carrying nothing but wooden trunks and a burning hope for a new beginning. Under the majestic bronze gaze of liberty, the American spirit found its wings. She wasn't just a monument. She was a promise that the world's tired and poor had finally found a home. In the heart of Chicago, the city roared with a new intensity. The elevated trains thundered above the streets, echoing the relentless heartbeat of a nation that was suddenly in a great hurry. Lower Manhattan became the counting house of the world. Wall Street was no longer just a street. It was the golden engine driving the machinery of a global economy. Yet, amidst the stone and steel, the quiet paths of Central Park offered a sanctuary. For a brief, golden moment, time seemed to stand still under the shade of the changing leaves. The voices of the newsboys filled the air, shouting the headlines of a future that was being written in real time on every dusty street corner and crowded alleyway. From the muddy intersections inside the busy workshops of Detroit, the future of mobility was being hand-bolted together, one steel gear at a time. Meanwhile, in the grand ports from Boston down to Savannah, the air was thick with the scent of salt water, as goods flowed in a steady, unstoppable tide of global trade and human toil. Education became the sacred cornerstone of the new century, shaping young minds in quiet, sunlit rooms. High above, the cities began to scrape the heavens, built by fearless men who sat on steel beams like they were thrones, looking down upon a world that was growing smaller every day. America learned to rise from its own ashes, displaying a resilience that could rebuild a city even after the earth itself had shaken. This spirit gave birth to grand palaces of commerce, vast department stores where the lights never dimmed, and every modern dream was elegantly displayed. From the endless golden wheat fields of the heartland to the very first magical flicker of a silent film on a silver screen, the American story was being told in 1,000 voices, capturing a reality that was often stranger and more beautiful than fiction. In the vibrant chaos of the crowded tenement streets, a new culture was being forged in the heat of the city. And far to the south, the massive scars of the Panama Canal proved that no challenge was too great for a nation determined to reshape the face of the planet.
Inside the workshops of Detroit, the future was being bolted together, one steel gear at a time. Meanwhile, in the grand ports, the air was thick with salt water, as goods flowed in a steady, unstoppable tide of trade. Education became the cornerstone of the new century, shaping young minds in sunlit rooms. High above, the cities began to scrape the heavens, built by fearless men who sat on steel beams like they were thrones. America learned to rise from its own ashes, displaying a resilience that could rebuild a city even after the earth had shaken. This spirit gave birth to grand palaces of commerce, where the lights never dimmed. From the golden wheat fields of the heartland to the first magical flicker of a silent film on a silver screen, the American story was being told in many voices, capturing a reality stranger than fiction. In the vibrant chaos of the streets, a new culture was forged in the heat of the city, and to the south, the massive scars of the Panama Canal proved that no challenge was too great for a nation determined to change the world. Across the invisible airwaves, the very first radio signals carried a new era of instant human connection. And on the windy sands of Kitty Hawk, a fragile wooden craft defied the earth itself, proving that man's oldest dream of flight had finally become a breathtaking reality. The majestic skyline of New York rose like a forest of stone and steel, a towering monument to human ambition. Below, in the smoky, dimly lit clubs of the city, the soul of a nation found its rhythm in the wild electric notes of early jazz. Modern science began to push back the heavy darkness of the past, bringing new hope to the sick and weary. Meanwhile, the steady roar of the Model T echoed through the countryside, forever changing how we moved and how we perceived our expanding world. Voices that had long been silenced rose in the streets, demanding a sacred seat at the table of democracy. As the first electric lights flickered to life, they didn't just illuminate the night, they signaled the arrival of a brand new dawn. From the fiery heart of the massive steel mills to the quiet observation of a vast starlit horizon, the long journey was complete. The old world was gone forever, and a modern giant had been born, ready at last to lead the way into the great unknown.